Hello guys, it's Joshua Hawes here. As you can tell by the time video, I'm doing my thoughts on the first episode of the Falcon and Winter Soldier. Overall, I think it's a really good episode. I think it lays the foundation really well. So, it kind of starts off with, this is not really into anything else, but it starts off with Falcon putting the shield in a bag, and we hear that conversation they had in Endgame. In the background, he basically says that the shield's yours. Now, then that's just kind of, I just want to get out of the way because that kind of does link, but it doesn't link till later. Let's kind of start off with the good, because that's just because there's a lot of good in the show. There's only some stuff that isn't necessarily bad, but just mixed. But anyway, at the start of this episode, we get a really good action scene, which is great because although I love WandaVision, it didn't really get MCU-y till near, if you understand what I'm saying, till near the end. And even then, that was about sorcerers and this whole world that she created. So, yeah, it was a bonkers show. But this just felt like a straight-up MCU thing, and it was really refreshing to see that. It was really refreshing to see something that's just flat-out MCU action, and it was really fun because I had missed that. I did, but like before Wanda, we haven't had a movie since July of 2019. So of course you miss it in new ways. So yeah, that action scene was really good. It's kind of traditional in a story, like you've got to get the soldier before they go past the border, because after that they can do nothing to stop it. So that's kind of, yeah, but it was a really fun scene. The rest of the show is more character. It lays the foundations of what the characters are going through. It lays those foundations and gives us a rough understanding of where our characters are, especially after the events of Endgame. It lays those foundations. It gives us an idea of where we are at, which I think is a great thing to do. So, I really like with the Falcon. Oh, by the way, spoilers. If you couldn't tell, it'll be in the title anyway. But so yeah, after that, Falcon basically allows the shield to be put in a museum because he does not feel like he's deserving of it. I got annoyed, but I understand at least where he's coming off from because of the lineage that kind of has. But we'll get to the final part soon. So, and he's also he's trying to help his sister and her kids kind of survive throughout the situation, because he's been gone like the past 5 years, and when he was there, he was saving the world. So, like, you know, and he's just trying to make things right. He doesn't want this ship to be so late, so he wants to go and get a loan. For some reason, the Avengers do not get paid. Does the government go like, okay, look, you've done it's a very nice thing, here's a little paycheck? Like, no, they don't get paid. Like, and they can't even get a loan. Like, what is going on? Like, why? Why can not Avengers who save the world don't get paid, or to do that, or can't even get a loan? So that was a thing that happened in the show. So that's kind of where he's going. He's kind of going to more like personal issues of confidence in himself and realizing that confidence in himself, which is very interesting. But the thing I really got interested in was the Winter Soldier's story, because the first time we see Winter Soldier is a flashback of him doing this mission for Hydra, and there's this innocent person who sees it all. He's like, and he looks at me, he's like, I didn't see anything. And Winter Soldier's like, oh yes you did, and shoots him. He's dead. That plays in effect because he's got he's friends with an old man. I don't know their relationship. Maybe they were friends like all those years ago, but he's friends with an old man, and this old man gets him an egg, so he's like, keep talking. So yeah, and we keep hearing about his son that just died. We don't know what happened to him. It was just the wrong place at the wrong time. And yeah, and then because he then also goes on to have this like meeting with like a therapist about him, because he's not talking to friends, he's not staying in contact. Falcon tried to contact him and he's not responding, so he's just not responding, and that is not good for him, because basically the government's allowing him to go off free because they understand he was controlled, but they said they need to know and need to be sure that you don't go and do that again. So, which is fair. They cut to this scene when he's like stopping someone he's helped, and he just looks at him and he's like, "Hello, I'm not a Hydra guy anymore. You're under arrest," which I thought was quite funny. So, yeah. But the real thing when he kind of clicks that he, like, what happened to his son, the reason where it starts to click is when he goes on his day, he gives flowers, and the girl's like, "That's very old," because I think she's aware of who he is. So, because he said, unless she didn't think he was telling the truth, but I would think that he'd know I think she would know who he is, because he's in museums, he's an important part of Captain America's life. I think he would know who he is. So, yeah. And then they play battleships, and she mentions it again about how his friend someone at the wrong place at the wrong time, and it starts to click, and he walks off, and he then goes and gives to his front door and like pays himself a bit. He looks at his little like memorial thing, little setup he said in commemoration of his son, and it's the picture is the person we saw him kill in the flashback. So he killed his friend's son. And I feel like what they're going for, because he's going through trauma of his past and stuff, he would not overcome that until he comes to terms with what he has done and tells him and gets forgiven by him because he understands the situation. I don't think it's until then he would truly be free of this. So, yeah. But there are also some other stuff going on. There's this, I forget the name, but it's this like terrorist group who believes the world was better like before during the blip when half the people were gone. They believe life was better then when it wasn't. And then there was this scene where Falcon's like friend kind of films an incident and he gets pretty much destroyed, and he tells Falcon about it, and he's like, "This is happening, do you know who this is?" He's like, "Is it?" And he's like, "Stuff." And I thought, is he thinking it's the Winter Soldier? Like, is there another one out there? So that's potentially interesting. That's just something that's going on. And now let's get to the ending. The ending took place. It was Falcon's sister comes in and says, "You gotta watch the TV," and the government, the guy was like, we need to do superheroes need protection. He's introduced the new Captain America, and it's this smuggled guy with a rip-off costume that is just designed to annoy you, holding the shield and being told, "You're Captain America." And this has got to absolutely annoy the Falcon, because he gave it up because he felt he was not worthy of its lineage and did not deserve it. While this random nobody comes in, holds the shield, is like, "I'm like Captain America." He's like, and he looks at it, he's like, "Well, he definitely doesn't deserve it. I'm not sure if I deserve to hold the shield or not, but he definitely does not." And the way they sued the costume, because it was done so well, and the helmet and stuff, it looked like a rip-off. It looked like someone was intentionally trying to rip off Captain America with a cheaper costume and everything. It was done to annoy you, and it annoys you perfectly. That's how the show ends, and I'm like, but that's why I love these shows. They end at the right point. So overall, this show has not got a lot of action. It's more of character based, which is what you need. This feels like the start of the first act, like, of a film, because that's kind of what they're going for with this show. It's like, it's basically a 6-hour film put into 5 or 6 hour film put into episodes. So that's pretty cool. I'm interested to see where this show goes forward. They've established a lot, and hopefully next episode we can start to see Falcon and Winter Soldier interacting, because they have incredible chemistry. Like that scene in Civil War when the Winter Soldier asking, "Can you move your seat?" and the Falcon's like, "No." That was hilarious. And the scene we have in the trailer, they have so great chemistry. I hope for the next 5 episodes we can see that, because we didn't see that until they're all doing their separate thing, which is good because you establish where the characters are at. But I feel like in future you should probably have to go, but I'm sure they'll do it really well. Overall, this was a fantastic episode. The only thing you might really complain is that it doesn't feel like a start or conclusion. It just feels like the start of a story and it just ends, but that was the intention. And there's not a lot of action, but there's more character build, which I think works, so I don't really have any issues with it. So overall, I really enjoyed this episode. It was really good at laying the foundations for the show, and I would recommend it. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and turn notifications on so you never miss a video. I'll see you all in the next one. Bye guys!